They threw you into the fire thinking you would burn. They pushed you into the dark, believing you would disappear. They watched you fall, and they smiled, because in their minds, this was the end of you. They didn't see the storm coming. They saw silence and mistook it for weakness. They saw patience and called it defeat. They saw you bleeding quietly and assumed you were done. But storms don't announce themselves. Storms gather in silence, and while they were celebrating your fall, you were learning how to rise. You remember that moment, don't you? The moment everything collapsed at once. The betrayal that hit like a blade to the spine. The rejection that echoed louder than any scream. The night where you stared at the ceiling, asking questions no one answered. They thought that moment broke you. They expected you to beg, to chase, to explain yourself, to shrink. They expected you to stay exactly where they left you, confused, shattered, dependent. But here's what they never understood. You weren't breaking, you were shedding, like a snake outgrowing its skin, like a star collapsing before it explodes into something brighter, like thunder forming behind thick, heavy clouds. They thought your silence was surrender, but it was strategy. They expected tears. You gave them distance. They expected desperation. You chose discipline. They expected you to crumble. You chose to become unfamiliar, even to yourself. While they were watching the surface, you were rebuilding the foundation. And it wasn't pretty. It was lonely. It was slow. It was brutal. There were days you woke up feeling hollow, nights where your chest felt too tight to breathe, moments where the old you tried to crawl back and whisper, "Stay small, it's safer here." But you didn't listen. You stayed. You sat with the pain instead of running from it. You learned its language. You learned what it was trying to teach you, and slowly, something changed. Your back straightened. Your eyes sharpened. Your voice grew quieter, but heavier. You stopped explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped begging for seats at tables that never valued your presence. You stopped pouring into cups with holes at the bottom. And that's when the storm began to form. At first, it was internal. Discipline replaced motivation. Consistency replaced chaos. Self-respect replaced approval. You started choosing yourself when no one was watching. You started showing up when applause was nowhere to be found. You started building strength in places they would never see. They still thought you were losing. They saw you walking alone and assumed you were abandoned. They didn't realize you were walking away from noise, away from excuses, away from the version of you that kept shrinking to keep others comfortable. They didn't see the storm coming because storms are born in isolation. Then one day, something shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. You stopped reacting. The insults didn't land the same. The manipulation felt obvious. The disrespect felt boring. You didn't argue. You didn't defend. You didn't chase closure from people who never gave honesty. You simply stepped forward, and that terrified them. Because nothing scares people more than someone who is no longer emotionally available to be controlled. They began to notice. Your absence echoed louder than your presence ever did. Your silence made them uneasy. Your growth made them uncomfortable. They started asking questions. What happened to you? You've changed. You're not the same anymore. And they were right. You weren't. You were becoming the storm. The kind that doesn't scream before it hits. The kind that doesn't warn before it reshapes landscapes. The kind that arrives calm and leaves transformation behind. You learned how to move without announcing, how to plan without sharing, how to rise without permission. And while they were still living off old versions of you, you were building a future they no longer had access to. Did they really think you'd stay broken? Did they really believe pain would make you smaller? Pain didn't destroy you. It refined you. It burned away the unnecessary. It exposed your strength. It forced you to meet yourself, without masks, without distractions, without lies. And you survived that meeting. Most people don't. Now watch the shift. Watch how they react when you no longer flinch, when you no longer seek validation. When your presence carries weight without explanation, they feel it. They feel it when you walk into a room and don't look for approval. They feel it when you speak calmly, but every word lands like truth. They feel it when your indifference replaces anger. Because anger can be manipulated. Peace cannot. They expected revenge. You gave them irrelevance. They expected confrontation. You gave them growth. They expected you to stay emotionally tethered. You cut the cord, and suddenly, they're the ones looking back. You see, the ultimate power shift isn't loud. It's silent. It's when you stop needing to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding you. It's when your self-worth no longer depends on who stayed or who left. It's when your energy becomes selective. You don't argue with storms anymore. You become one. By now, the transformation is undeniable. Your mornings feel different. Your thoughts sound different. Your standards stand taller. You don't chase. You attract. You don't prove. You embody. You don't react. You respond, or you walk away. And this is where the mini earthquakes begin. Because when you elevate, it disrupts people who benefited from you being small. They start projecting. They start whispering. They start hoping you fail. Quietly. Desperately. But storms don't care about opinions. Storms move forward. Every step you take now feels heavier. Not with fear, but with presence. You carry yourself like someone who knows what they survived. You've walked through fire and came back carrying light. You've been underestimated, overlooked, discarded, and still rose. And now your calm is intimidating. Your boundaries confuse them. Your self-respect unsettles them. Your peace threatens them. Because they remember the version of you they could control, and they can't find that person anymore. Here's the truth they'll never admit. They didn't lose you. They lost access. Access to your time, your energy, your emotional labor, your light. And access once lost is rarely regained. As the storm reaches its peak, you don't roar, you stand, unmoved, unbothered, unapologetic. You no longer seek revenge because you've outgrown the need to be seen by people who never truly saw you. You don't need to explain your transformation. Your life speaks for you. Your discipline tells the story. Your boundaries write the chapters. Your peace seals the ending. They look at you now and realize something too late. They misjudged the quiet. They underestimated the silence. They didn't see the storm coming. And now comes the climax, the moment of full realization. You are no longer becoming. You have become. Not hardened, but grounded. Not cold, but clear. Not angry, but awake. You don't shrink anymore. You don't overextend. You don't apologize for taking up space. You don't negotiate your worth. You move with intention. You speak with clarity. You rest without guilt. And the storm now follows you. They may never apologize. They may never admit they were wrong. They may never understand the depth of what they caused. But none of that matters anymore. Because closure isn't something they give. It's something you take, and you've taken it. So if you're listening to this right now, hear it clearly. If they doubted you, good. If they left you, good. If they underestimated you, perfect. Because storms don't rise in comfort. They rise in pressure. They rise in silence. They rise when no one is watching. And when they arrive, everything changes. You are not who you used to be. And that's not a loss. That's the victory. They didn't see the storm coming, but you did. And this time, you are the storm.